stricter controls on immigration is a promise being made by all the main political parties if they get into government. More than 40 years ago, the MP for Wolverhampton South West started a firestorm with his Rivers of Blood speech. Enoch Powell was called a racist, and there's been very little mainstream discussion on immigration ever since.
Now, one community worker claims that some black people are facing abuse from a minority of Eastern European migrants as the cultural makeup of the Midlands continues to change. Our correspondent Peter Wilson reports.
It is like watching a nation busily engaged in heaping up its own funeral pyre.
A speech predicting doom. Enoch Powell was branded a racist in 1968. Others called him a prophet. But while immigration was shouted about on the streets, the politicians tended to ignore it. Today in Wolverhampton South West, Enoch Powell's old seat, Derek Campbell shows me around. He's a Home Office advisor and church minister. His family moved here when he was a boy.
When we talk about immigration, black, white, Asian, whoever you are, once public services are squeezed, people look for someone to blame. And historically we've seen it has always been the minority communities who have been at the butt of that scapegoating effect.
Wolverhampton has 22% of its population coming from visible minority groups, and more than 60 languages are spoken here. One effect of that speech by Enoch Powell was to shut down the whole debate on immigration for more than 40 years. People were simply too afraid to talk about it. Now, all the main political parties have strong views on immigration. But what do people here in Wolverhampton think and feel about the subject?
I'm all for giving everybody a chance in life, but I think far too many people come over just to bleed society, really, and I think that's where the problem is.
As a Wolves season ticket holder, many years ago there would be some quite nasty abuse on the terraces, and now it's just not tolerated by fans, black, white, Asian alike. So I think it's vastly improved. I think it's a very tolerant and reasonable city to live in.
The people that I do know that have come from abroad, I mean, they're people, they want to work, they want a better standard of life. So I mean, it hasn't affected us that way. I mean, if anything, I've made friends.
Edward Grizzle came to Wolverhampton in the 1950s. He runs a community housing project called All Cultures, One Voice. And he claims that a minority of Eastern European migrants have caused some problems for the black British community.
The black community have got a problem with immigration and the new immigrants, because even the new immigrants picking on the black community now. And when you walk out on the street there and you listen to them and you talk to them, even some of the new migrants, even some of the European, they don't feel like the black people should be here.
The UK border agencies say that they remove 21 illegal immigrants every week from the West Midlands. Currently, 8.8% of the West Midlands population is foreign-born. The refugee population is estimated at 76,000 across the West Midlands. The number of asylum seekers has fallen from 9,000 to 4,000. So what did the politicians say about immigration? The Conservatives are seeking to regain Wolverhampton South West, lost to Labour in 1997.
People have seen immigration throughout the UK in hundreds of thousands. We want to return to a situation as it was in the 1990s and in the 1980s, where we're actually seeing immigration at the level of the tens of thousands. It's an issue that really is a huge priority for folks.
Labour are campaigning hard.
Anyway, you're going to be voting Labour on the 6th of May?
Yeah.
And they say they'll tighten the immigration system.
Given that such a large proportion of immigrants to the United Kingdom come from other European Union member states and contribute greatly to this country, but we cannot have a sensible debate, a public debate about immigration policy in the United Kingdom unless we are prepared to revisit the issue of free movement of labour in the European Union.
The Liberal Democrats deny having an open-door policy, but say fairness is at the heart of their policy.
Immigrants who come into the country have to demonstrate they have a sponsor, have to demonstrate there is a job, and clearly have to demonstrate that their job is needed in that particular area.
Hassan was an asylum seeker escaping war-torn Somalia, where his father and brother were both killed. Now a British citizen and contributing to the economy of Wolverhampton South West, he says he's looking forward to voting in next week's election.
I'm a taxpayer, same as everyone else. I'm still studying, and I was studying as well, evening classes, but again, I am working full-time every day from 9 till 5. I'm fulfilling my duty. I register myself to vote, and which is part of my duty as well, to express my opinion freely.
Wolverhampton appears at peace with itself, but the majority of people I spoke to say there needs to be a debate on how to manage resources and immigration. Peter Wilson, BBC Midlands Today, Wolverhampton.
Peter Wilson reporting. There's a full list of the candidates standing in Wolverhampton South West on your screen now. For more information on the election, you can go to our website, bbc.co.uk/election.
Well, ahead